Yo, what's going on? It's your boy T Drake. You in on the Sunday night conversation. Got my co-host in with me, Korey Harris. What's up, Cole?
T, what's going on, my brother? Hope
Man,
all
I
is well
can't
with you.
call it, man.
Yes, sir.
I guess all is well, but go ahead and introduce yourself, man, to those who just popping in with us
Introduce myself.
tonight, man, for the first time.
Man, what's up, everybody out there? This is like my man T said, the Champions Podcast. He's Terry Drake. I'm Korey Harris. Two brothers just coming together, chopping it up, talking sports, trying to give a little bit of game, but also looking forward to building with you guys. So make sure that you're staying active in the comments. We like to start off with the first 15 minutes, rapid fire, catching up on everything that's happening in the sports world, just recapping our weeks, and then locking in on a certain topic that we think will definitely help everybody out there that's tuning in.
So there you have it. There you have it. We're in the house tonight. Sunday night conversation. I am so excited getting ready for this Pittsburgh and Dallas matchup tonight. Now I'm gonna be watching. I don't know about Corey. Corey probably gonna be somewhere getting ready for the week. You know what I'm saying? Got all these training sessions he got to do and all this kind of stuff like that. But I will definitely be watching. Look and see everybody's joining in on IG. Hoops is life. Navia, is that you? All right, Stacy popping in. Donnie Two Shift. You got like, man, sometimes you messing up these folks on handles and stuff, man. But what's up, y'all? Good to see you all tonight. Once again, like my boy said, it's the Champions Podcast. We're rocking and rolling. Sitting here still got the football games in the background, but Cole, I talked to you a little bit earlier, man. I know you want to go ahead and just, I know I've been getting on you about the Gators and all this kind of stuff like that. But I'm a man. I can go ahead and take it like a man. Yes, we lost to Vanderbilt. Yes, we lost to Vanderbilt. Yes, we lost.
You the type of brother I want to grow up to be, T. You know what I mean? How you just lead off with that, You just go ahead and put yourself out there on the chopping block. I respect that, brother. That's being a bigger person. You know what I mean? It's easy to kick folks when you on top, you know what I'm saying? But when you gotta, face the music, I respect that, bro.
Man. The Lord said, humble yourself under his mighty hand. In due time, he'll exalt you.
Brother pulling out scriptures. Pulling out the scriptures.
Bro, we lost, man. You know what I'm saying? Like coming off a huge win against Georgia, then we come up here and, go up to Nashville and just, you know what I'm saying, just bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was
spoken
in the
like
gym.
A true Bama fan. Spoken like a true Bama fan, because y'all didn't bomb, right? It's this incredible standard y'all have for y'all school, y'all legacy. Y'all obviously competing for national championships every year. You're gonna get everybody's best punch, and like we said offline, we were chopping it up, right?
Yeah.
You're coming off of a super highly emotional, it was a charged win. You know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't just another win. It was like that was basically the national championship right there, right? Yeah. So you come off that, like you and I both have experience as coaches. Your guys somewhat. It's just human nature. They're still feeling the lull of what already happened, and they're not looking forward, right? Yeah. They're not present. So you can get caught. It's a trap game. Yeah, that's what we call it in the sports world, right? You play somebody ranked number one, or at least one or two. You're both fighting for that top spot, and now you're facing somebody you think you just gonna roll over and beat, regardless, just because you showed up and they weren't scared. So, nah, man, I ain't gonna let you just kill yourself like that. And I don't think y'all bombed, but y'all didn't live up to the standard of Alabama football for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And our to the Champions Podcast audience tonight, what you guys think? You guys go ahead and join in. Just let us know what you guys think. Did Alabama just blow it? Did we bomb? What you guys think? Drop it in the comments. I know you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, you're on X, you're on IG. So just talk to us. Hit us in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on that Alabama game. We definitely love to hear what you got to say about it. But I will say this. It was to one of the questions I was talking to somebody, they asked me this: do you think that Nick Saban would have allowed that to happen? What they were asking me was, do you think the level of preparation for that week would have been different? You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
Mm.
just wondering how that would have went. You can debate about it all you want, but it happened. It's over, and now we, we keep on rocking and rolling. So
For
hey,
sure.
but one thing I do want to rap with you about, the Aces, man.
Yeah, I was just watching that with the wife, man.
Yeah. What's your
Champions are
thoughts on
falling
that,
this
man?
week. Champions are falling this week.
Yeah.
I think what Becky Hammond said, it got a lot of people feeling away, after their second loss when they went down 0-2. And she started talking about, the distractions and the things that come with being super successful, like superstardom and
Yeah.
all these just other things that can become roadblocks. I do think there's some merit to that. I don't think that she was just making an excuse. I think she's just speaking from the standpoint of she's really in it, right? She's been there as a player. Now she's there as a coach. She understands what comes with success,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes success can be a curse because you can begin to trust in that success. Like, oh, we've done it before, so
Yeah.
we know how to do it. We'll do it again. And
Yeah.
I don't think the Aces failed to prepare. I think they just failed to get better this year. Like, I think from an overall, like, if you're playing GM, if we're sitting there looking at the roster, they were
Yeah.
not as deep as they were when they had Candace. They had some injuries, and they just basically chose to run it back. I'm not saying they didn't add any pieces, but if you look at the Liberty who they lost to, like, they added, a young lady who it was a foreign player, and she just was all bought in, 6'4", like hybrid wing / guard / post. So she's changing the game. Sabrina Ionescu got better. She's riding an emotional high from trying to make sure she doesn't get back to the promised land and lose again. Brianna Stewart's looking at Asia thinking, I'm just as good as you. Like, they got Jonquel Jones. So it's like they were built for this moment. They're built to beat the Aces, basically.
Yeah.
And Asia had an amazing season, historic. But I've always said this. I feel like when you get into late playoff, series matchups, bigs, yes, they can dominate, but you gotta have like some type of an elite wing. Like, it could be a guard, but like, I think wings, when you get to the finals or conference finals, semifinals for the WNBA, like, it's all like every championship team has one. And so Asia can't get the ball in certain situations without someone to get it to her. And if guards aren't making shots from the outside, like, if you throw it to her, they just triple her. And so you saw that tonight where the Aces really couldn't buy a bucket. They averaged 87 points a game. And I think the final score, like, they were in the 60s or something like that. So, kudos to the Liberty. It was a great series. It was hard fought, but I think it's just their time.
Yeah, they're a really good well-oiled machine playing their best basketball right now. Got all the good key pieces in it. Do they know who they're going to be facing in the next round?
They're gonna face the winner between Minnesota and Connecticut, and I think Connecticut tied it up. So it's 2-2 now. They have a game 5 deciding, the series. I like both Minnesota and Connecticut. I don't think that either one of them just have enough. I'm gonna just be honest. I think Minnesota is mature and they play a certain style where, like, you're not gonna speed them up. You're not gonna really take away a lot from them, but they just don't have enough to me. Connecticut is talented, right? But I just don't think they have the maturity. They're a very emotional team. Like, they get high and then they get low and they argue with the refs. So I just really think the Liberty, I think that was the WNBA finals. I think beating the Aces was the finals. Which is confusing because they don't have an East and Western conference. So, like, the Liberty and Aces, if it was like the NBA, they would be meeting in the
championship.
Yeah.
So they did, like, Liberty was number 1, Aces was number 4.
Yeah, it's like a weird. Well, it's just seeding. I think whoever was the 6th seed, the Liberty knocked them off, and whoever the Aces faced was probably the 5th seed or something like that.
Yeah, so that's just how the SEC is this year. There's no more East West. It's just you're just gonna be ranked according to your record, and you're just going in like that.
Speaking of that, I got a question for you. Hopefully, it don't take too much time because I do got to talk about my Falcons Thursday night. with the comeback victory. But anyway.
Only reason you're talking about that is because you're showing and letting people know that you watched some football over the weekend, which technically is not the weekend because the Falcons played on Thursday. So it's not. It's not. Let me ask you this question: Did you rest on the Sabbath this weekend?
I rested a couple of days this week, so you can pick what you want to label as a Sabbath.
Yeah, you know, well, I got you.
I listened to you last time, brother. I listened to you.
I got you. You know what I'm saying?
So my question for you is, what do you think about? And it's just rumors. I don't think it's like it's not going to happen, but it's speculation right now. Mm-hmm. The SEC and Big Ten collaboration, like their partnership, planning to come together for these. Challenges with basketball, how you have the ACC, SEC, whatever, and they play in like these little tournaments. But from a football standpoint, as well as basketball standpoint, they say that it just makes too much sense for it not to happen. Yeah. I don't know enough about it to have an opinion. I was wondering if you had heard anything or if you had.
Remember the movie Jerry Maguire?
Oh yeah, show me the money. Yes, sir.
Show me the money. And at the end of the day, that's what that's what that is right there.
Okay.
It's just the power for
I feel you.
Making more money.
I feel
you. With the NIL and everything that is taking place, with talent being dispersed everywhere now. Mm-hmm. As we saw it is with Vanderbilt over the weekend, very talented team. I'm not sure how much NIL is going to Vanderbilt, but but once again, when we talk about the conferences, setting up these different cross matches and cross games and different things like that, it's a no-brainer. Now, what is going to happen in the next 2 years to however, it's a no-brainer. It's going to happen eventually because you know what I'm saying? It just makes sense monetarily wise for, both conferences, teams, schools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
What do you think that means in terms of impact on, the remaining, 2 power conferences? Obviously, PAC, is kind of out of there now.
Yeah.
They've been broken apart and those teams are now a part of other, Power 5, Power 4 conferences.
Yeah.
Like Big East, for instance, like how does that impact them?
That will basically be the same. So if they can begin to look at some type of agreements and, make these games happen, that's going to be something that's going to be beneficial to them as well. At the end of the day, we know that, the Power 4 conferences, the NCAA, at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about money, how much more they can make, and is it feasible? We look at the NFL, we look at, the extension of games, more games being added to the slate. Now, on one hand, we're talking about safety and all these kind of things, but then next thing we're talking about adding more games, making the schedules longer, and then saying, okay, making the schedules longer, then we're talking about a very, very long time. We're talking about football right now. Think about that added, contact, that added, games. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. I know traveling takes a lot out of you.
For sure.
And when you talk about having to travel, like I think Miami had to go to Cal this weekend. Like their uniform people had, equipment had to leave Tuesday to get to California. You know what I'm saying? For that, and that's how a lot of teams are doing now with this realignment and everything like that. You got West Coast teams having to go all the way to East Coast for games. I think Colorado just had to do it with South Florida, if I'm not mistaken, Central Florida last week. And it just, and at the end of the day, you got to think, okay, more money is being needed. So there are definitely, things that they're looking at to begin to garner more money.
100%.
Yeah, so that's my 2 cents in on it. We're good. We're in good time. We're still 14 minutes, 24 seconds, into tonight. Numbers are going up, man. Really appreciate the audience jiving in with us tonight. Now I know. Once again, hey, look, we got the Steelers, my team, the Steelers, getting ready to take on the Cowboys tonight, America's team. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just waiting on the Steelers to take the field. I'm going to go ahead and give you my prediction. Steelers, 24, Cowboys, 12.
He said they kicking 4 field goals or they're gonna score 2 touchdowns, but they can't convert on the extra points.
And
Man, that's
we're talking about the Steelers with a quarterback that they haven't even named starter yet.
That is so disrespectful. He said, I can see you just like 12, whatever. Come on.
That's what it was. Just 12. That's 12. Whatever, man. So, hey, shout out to the Champions Podcast audience. Thank you for joining in tonight to the Sunday Night Conversation. It's your boy T. Dre. Got my co-host Korey Harris on tonight. Tonight we're talking to the parents. Special night for the parents. Parents, go ahead and circle around. Go ahead. I know you got football on one screen. You got the Champions Podcast on your phone or your iPad or your MacBook. Yeah, I talked. Well, Apple's not endorsing us, so on your computer. You know what I'm saying? So until we get that, one day it's happening. We're speaking into existence. The Apple's going to be sponsoring the Champions Podcast. All right, so look, check this out. Tonight we're talking about frustration, desires, fears. Those are always our 3 components. Those are always our 3 pillars that we discuss. So tonight, for the parents, frustrations. Number 1 is this: coping with the stress of competitive environments. Coping with the stress of competitive environments. I was just in Atlanta. I was over there in Gwinnett this weekend and for a camp. And the magnitude of the stress that the parents were putting on the kids. And I'm not talking about high school kids. I'm talking about kids in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. The magnitude of stress that the parents was. First of all, I'm just on my soapbox right now because at some point, parents, you got to stop coaching your kid from the sideline. At some point, you just got to stop doing it because now you got the coach that's coaching the game. Like kids are not even looking at the coach anymore. They're not even looking at the coach anymore that's coaching the game. They're looking to the stands. There was one kid that every time he came down, you know what I'm saying, whether it was 3, layup, whatever, he's looking to the stands. One time, one kid turned talking to his parents in the stand about the game, didn't even get back on defense because he's talking. Another time, a parent talking to the kid on the court getting frustrated, you know what I'm saying, obviously upset about the cry because the dad's on the sideline, just going in on him. It's becoming, we're talking about 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, coach. We're talking about that. And you in the competitive environment is already competitive on the games on the court, and you're making it even more competitive. And the stress level of the parents, the stress level of the kids, the stress level of the coaches, and now guess what? You have a ticking time bomb all around, which is why we're starting to see more fights, more parents getting into fights. Parents want to fight coaches, players fighting players. What are we doing? In these environments, because we are parents, coaches, we're creating these stressful environments. And coach, it's a camp. Who cares who wins?
Wow.
Like they get like the coaches getting into it with one another, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a hard foul, refs didn't call it at a camp. 4th, 5th, 6th graders.
So how do you think causes that?
What causes it?
Yeah, why is it such a heightened increase in that? Like, is it social media? Is it the rankings? Is it the
It's a conglomerate of it all. It's the rankings. It's because literally we're talking about now. There was a 6th grader several years ago that was ranked number 1 in the nation.
Okay.
You and I had an opportunity to train him.
Yes, sir.
As a 6th grader, he came down to here to Birmingham. You came over. We had opportunity to work with him.
Yep.
A really, really good player.
Yep.
Number 1 in the nation as a 6th grader.
Yep. NBA players, signing off on them.
All that. Games, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, no Power 5 school. And at this point, don't even know where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he plays anymore.
They don't even think he plays anymore. But the thing that I'm trying to, and what you're saying is, what leads to these stressful environments is that they're chasing these rankings because I had a parent come up to me talking about, yeah, my son's number this in the nation. He plays on the number 2, 3 team in the nation. I'm gonna be like, all right, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who really cares that you're the number 1 fifth grader, number 1 sixth grader, or the number 20 of sixth grader in the country?
Yeah.
Let me see what's going on in a couple of years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because all of this is about to change.
Yeah.
Kids haven't even hit puberty yet.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Even your child's shot's gonna change about 3 or 4 more times before he even gets to high school. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, other kids gonna hit their growth spurts. It's so many different dynamics for you to be living your child's dream in the 5th grade or 6th grade. I literally have to now, Cole, when I'm in the gym, put AirPods in to avoid having certain conversations. Because I'm just like, if another parent come to me talking about what their kid is ranked and you haven't even gotten to middle school yet, I'm going to be like, what's going on? So the stress level is, you know, and the thing about it is, Cole, when you have certain evaluators, certain scouts come into the gym, everything shifts again. Yeah. That makes it even more intense because now, you know what I'm saying? And then watch this. When the scouts evaluator gets up after the game, pulls 2 kids, you know what I'm saying? Pulls 2 kids to the side, want to talk to them. All the other kids want to come. Hey, did you call my name? There was one kid came up to me. I didn't call him. He said to me, I scored 12 points that game. I was the leading scorer that game. Cole, he missed shots, walked back on defense, stood one time when he turned the ball over, yelling at his teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like, angry at, like, you want me to do what with you? Because you scored 12 points.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And so the stress environments is just it's overboard at this point because the expectations and the weight that parents are putting on their children at this age is going to turn them into a monster. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see bad attitudes, and you know you're starting to hear conversations in the back. Oh, you know, you need to be shooting the ball more. Don't pass. If they don't pass to you, don't you pass it to them. Go get the ball. You run the offense. You go get the ball. It's ridiculous. And we're talking about a camp. Like, a parent came over to me, another parent came and said, my kid scored 9 points, had 9 rebounds. He was also at a double-double. Cole, I'm not finna write about a kid that just goes in, gets some rebounds and putbacks. I'm not finna write about a kid that just goes and scores 12, 15, 16 points on layups in transition. And you don't, you know what I'm saying? And you're not showing anything else. So where's this stress environment come? And the frustration of having to deal with it from a parental aspect, it's very frustrating for a lot of parents to be in these situations. When you're starting to see kids fighting, and I'm not saying it's just now started, but you're seeing 5th, 6th, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders fighting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Kid takes a charge. The kid that committed the charge wants to fight the kid that took the charge. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Like,
first off, I hate charges. I think charges should be removed out of the game of basketball, but that's neither here nor there. So I have maybe it's weird, but I just think it's a different take. And it's not different like the opposite of yours, but I'm just going to approach it maybe from another angle. Like you said, though, I do agree it's a conglomerate. Like, it's so many things that cause the stress that is so apparent in the gym when you walk into a camp, when you walk into an event. Number one, I think it's the belief that this is a potential meal ticket. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to lie. I come from a, single parent household. A lot of us who are watching this probably come from, middle class or lower middle class or just low class, upbringings where we didn't have a lot. And so typically the entertainment industry is, for minorities, it's an opportunity for us to like go from zero to, everything we've ever wanted, right? Whether that's, music, some type of sports, creative, or arts, but we kind of, and I'm only able to even think of this way now as someone who's going to have children in the near future, but like we almost see oh, I can prepare my child and put them on this path. And these 18 years is like an investment.
Yeah.
To where I'll get a payout,
Mm.
right? I see it, you see it, because we work within that sector. So then that leads me to my next point, which is it's also just the simple fact that there is an industry that is built off of that expectation.
Mm.
Like my job, for instance, as a skill development coach, doesn't exist if there aren't people who don't want their children to begin working on those said skill sets and abilities from the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up.
Yeah.
Some of us might work with higher level players or a lot of grassroots players, but there is no industry if there isn't the desire by a large majority to try to, like, it's only so many spots, right? There's 450 spots in the league. There's, a little over 300 Division I schools and college, period. You could go on and on about the numbers, but parents are all thinking their child is the one that's going to, take one of those spots. So now that benefits me. I get to charge a rate. I get to have, a location where I say you can meet me here at these times. And I have a business that now feeds my family off of you trying to feed your family.
Yeah.
And then same thing with people who evaluate, same thing with people who do write-ups, who scout. It's like, as much as we all want the problems and the outcomes to change, it's like we're all a part of the problem at the same time. And, the only way for that change to come is for people who already understand the matrix because they were in it at one point and maybe they wiggled out, to have to turn around and like pay it forward and create more, not opportunities for someone else to make the NBA, because that's not up to them, but maybe for there to be more resources in other ways, shape, or forms for families' livelihoods to be still taken care of, still be improved, but just in a different, like I respect Shaq, right? He talks about his kids and him pushing them not to become athletes because we got enough of those, right? Where the doctors at, where the lawyers, teachers, things like that. I'm probably going to allow my children, if they want to play sports, to play sports. And if they really want to lock in, I'm going to push them. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But at the same time, I think that, man, it'd be impossible for me not to take at least a little bit of the, you know what I'm saying, the ownership of like just where we are, because I'm a part of this machine, and I don't think I add stress. I don't think you add stress. I think we try our best to like diffuse it when we see it and also educate. But I'll say this too. I think there's not enough parents who truly understand the process talking. Like I saw a gentleman, man, I wish I could remember his name and the name of his Instagram handle, but he has an amazing platform. He's the father of two NFL, I think one's a receiver, maybe one's a defensive back. I'm not sure. But older gentleman, looks like he's in his 50s or 60s, probably a granddad now. But he was able to kind of get his sons to that level because he himself understood that level. You look at even Serena and Venus's, father, God rest his soul, Arthur, like he understood the matrix. It's not, there aren't enough parents who like understand the business of basketball, the marketing of it, the way to pick a school, the way to truly prepare your child, how to find the right trainer, pick the right coach, pick the right AAU team. It's not enough of them talking. And it's way too many parents who know nothing that are talking. Like those are the ones that are at those events yelling and going crazy and carrying on because they didn't play. You can tell they didn't. And even if they did play, like they were probably problems when they played. Like they probably, at the end of the day, you wouldn't act that way if you knew the way. You be calm. Right? Your child makes a mistake, don't get picked, blah, blah, blah. He's in third, fourth, fifth grade. Man, you like, bro, it's cool. Like you wiping the tears from his face. Like when LeBron, it went viral years ago when I think it was either Bronny or Bryce had a bad game or they thought they had a bad game. And he was encouraging him, telling him like, what are you talking about? You were rotating on defense. You were talking. You got a block that led to an opportunity for a basket. You created second chance points. You were getting back. Like, no, you played well. Like that is an example of someone who's already been there, who can speak a different vernacular and just has a different tone because he understands it's a long, long, long marathon. It has nothing to do with rankings right now, So I think we need more individuals who get it, like yourself, like myself, but parents as well, sharing like, yeah, this is how my son made it, or this is how my daughter made it. We didn't really care about those things.
Yeah. And if you look at a lot of those individuals, parents, they kind of help to, it's hard to shield them from everything because social media is just so, robust. And a lot
It's
of
important.
people, a lot of coaches, evaluators, scouts, et cetera, they actually sometimes go above and beyond the parent to even get and talk to the kids. And so like I said, you can't shun them from everything, but it's just, once, like you were saying, those who know the process need to be more vocal about the process.
For sure.
Because a lot of people really, and sometimes I wonder, Cole, do they really even listen?
No, they don't. At the end of the day, people gonna make their own decisions. Not to put anybody out there, but I was having a conversation with a dad last night of a client, and just trying to get him to understand the process for his college age son. When, they have a goal, they have a dream. He wants to play on a certain level. That's all great. But there are certain realities about where you are right now, your skill set, and just even the marketplace, like what coaches are looking for and what you have to overcome just to get an opportunity on any scholarship level. And at the end of the day, like I've had to make the choice myself to just like release that and like, hey, they're going to either trust me or not. And it's nothing against them. I'm not going to take it personally because people are going to do what people want to do. What they want to do. So, I learned that as a young, skill development coach, as well as a coach on the staff, like when a parent wants their child to transfer because they don't feel like you're giving them the right opportunity, but maybe like they don't see the kid in practice. They don't know that the kid is hard to coach, or you're getting the most out of that kid. And the parent, just because it's their child, they think they should be getting more. It's like, people are going to do what they want to do. So
let me ask you a question before we move on to Desire. Sure. You coached in China.
Yep, for sure.
Did you see this level of stress in China?
Yeah, it's different though. I think in any professional culture, it comes more so from top down, right? So like the pressure to win, once you get out of the amateur ranks, like, high school, maybe even college is somewhat like this now because of just how much money is now involved. But I think college has always been extremely stressful. But definitely in the pro ranks, everyone's job is on the line. There are no volunteer coaches. There's nobody out there just doing it for the kids. There's nobody doing it for the love of the game. Like we wouldn't be at that level unless we loved what we were doing, right? Because you kind of get pushed out if you don't. Like you'll get sought, you'll get found. You know what I mean? But the pressure comes from the GM. It comes from the owner. It comes from, your fan base. That's crazy. It comes from even just internally, because on the pro level, all the players are the best in their particular field. Like there's no more like, well, you're on the team because, like, no, like you had to be a specialist to get to this point. So just for your own pride as a man or a woman, like you want to do well. So like the regular season has stress because it's contracts. The playoffs has stress simply because it's the playoffs and it's for everything, but it's also for bonuses, it's for incentives and contracts, it's for, your legacy, it's for next season so that you can potentially get to a bigger contract. Like that's the stuff that, and I'm going to just connect it to what we were talking about with parents. That's the stuff parents don't get because you aren't teaching your child how to handle a stress-filled environment when you are constantly trying to remove all of the barriers and the obstacles for them. A lot of the times that those parents are yelling from the stands to their child, you're trying to like control them like a video game. Like you're working them like a joystick. You're trying to push the button. You're telling them, shoot it, pass it, do this, do that. They have no opportunity to themselves like figure out how to even deal with something. Get back, rebound, like because you constantly keep coaching your child, they don't even know what it means to like make a mistake and then work through the emotional roller coaster of, okay, I got to shake back. Like, yes, you're saying the right thing. Keep playing, keep fighting, but they don't need to hear it from you. They need to get it from inside. And they also need to get chastised by someone outside of, just their caretaker group or their home and their parents and loved ones. It needs to be a stranger, because a coach overseas or in the NBA is not going to be related to you. It's not going to be your grandma, grandpa. It's not going to be your cousin, your mom, and dad. It's going to be someone you meet when you get signed.
Yeah.
And you have to build a relationship under fire. So like, I can always pick out the players who didn't go through it when they were younger, because they typically fold, they crack quicker when it happens to them on those higher levels. But the kids, like you look at Jalen Brunson, man, his dad, they show the video clips of him. His dad is just like no nonsense, like telling them the truth. But then you watch the Knicks games on TV, his dad ain't standing up. He's not saying nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Tibbs is the guy. Boom, 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 boom. You listen to Tim Hardaway talking about his son, Junior. Yeah. Like, man, I'm just a dad. I'm just encouraging them. I'm not really telling them how to handle this situation. It was a tough one. They didn't agree with how Jason Kidd handled it, but he just told them it'll get better. Keep rolling with it. Don't give up. Your time will come. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what is that showing you? That's showing you the people who played on the highest level don't even act like you.
Yeah.
They don't even think like you. So if you think you're doing your job as a parent by like being a part of every decision and trying to coach them through every experience, you can't think that you're preparing them for the highest level, when the ones who are at the highest level, one is a superstar in Jalen Brunson. The other is a dude that's going to play for at least 10 to 15 years in Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, if they're not doing it, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Can't stress it enough. Can't stress that enough. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just the habits, the reactions, the responses are totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
So jumping into the desires for parents, witnessing their child's teamwork and sportsmanship. This one, as I was looking at it, it's hard for me to come and jump on Sunday night conversation when I've been in the gym the past 48 hours, and I've witnessed so much of this in the negative way. So when you're looking at do parents really desire seeing their child operate in teamwork and play with this sportsmanship?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I think that's one that like is said a lot, is spoken.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I don't see it like supported. There's no action to support that. And I got to take some blame. Like, we're in a very individualistic, is that a word? Individualistic culture where basketball is concerned. Everybody has a personal trainer.
Yeah.
I want private workouts. I don't want to work out with anybody. Can we work out one-on-one? That is the main question I get from parents. Like, if they want to book with me, and first off, they don't like my rates. I'm gonna just use this as an opportunity to get on some of y'all. They be like, man, can't we get a discount? And I'm like, well, the opportunity you have is to work with these children or players of a similar skill set for this price. Oh, well, we want one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it's like, that could be a money thing, but I also think there's a lack of understanding from a parent standpoint of even like why they want one-on-one with their child. Like, this is not math.
Yeah.
This is not algebra, calculus, geometry, where working in an individual setting is always going to be beneficial. Basketball is a game played 5-on-5.
Yeah.
When I take a math test in school, I take my test by myself.
Yeah.
So working in a group in school with a tutor might not be the best thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's an opportunity for that teacher to not have the attention or the focus to help me when my need might be completely different from this other kid. And so that could be true in some ways in basketball. For the most part, it's not though, because in a sports setting where it's team, the same boxing is not golf, this isn't individuals in tennis. When I see another person doing something in basketball a certain way, I'm inspired. Like, man, how's he opening and getting into his hip that way? Like, I don't have that mobility like that, or I don't move at that pace. I don't have that energy on my inside out move. How did he shift like that? Or when such and such drives to the basket and he's able to absorb contact, I'm seeing he's hitting before he gets hit. I'm getting hit and I'm falling over. Like, so as a kid, you know, T, when we were growing up, if we saw other kids do things, sometimes there was no words needed. We learned just because we got to see it. Babies who have older siblings, a lot of times become more mature faster because they can watch their older siblings walk, run, jump, do other things. So parents don't understand that. And how can me as a coach, I'm gonna just be honest, how can I truly prepare your child for the game if I can't get them out there and have them battle against another kid?
Yeah.
Like some kids, if I play them, it's going to destroy their confidence. And I'm not even that great, but I'm a man. So like, if I'm playing a 9-year-old, like, okay, what's he going to learn from that?
Yeah.
Beat him up, coach. Don't give him nothing, coach. Like what? There's no barometer. He can't even see how this applies.
Yeah.
But if I get 2 or 3 all equally skilled, somewhat 9-year-olds in the gym, drive and kick, we can work on actions. And then I'll say, hey, now we're going to read and react. We're going to play a little bit. So I'm going to control the situation. I'm going to control the environment. Now they can learn teamwork. Now they can learn what we're saying that you as a parent desire. I got them talking. Hey, you got a high five, show love. I'm doing that in between drills. We ain't doing that in no individual workout. And now when you go play, it's alien-like for you now to try to assimilate into a team culture, because Monday through Thursday before your Friday night game, you just working one-on-one.
Yeah.
So
and so when you think about that, like, so, you took us into a place where, man, that training conversation right there is tough right there, because like I said, when kids are starting out, they might, young, give them individual sessions, you know what I'm saying? Work a little cone action and all this kind of stuff. And then at some point, you know what I'm saying, they're going to graduate away from cones, graduate away from the individuals, like, and then they're going to jump into those groups. Now, if I see something, because please understand, the individual sessions now with older kids or players or pros, it ain't what you see or think a training session is. It's not one of those, oh, go on. It ain't that. It is, to be honest, it's very boring.
Yeah. And it's super specific. Like,
exactly.
It's we done graduated from fundamentals. We on to whatever you have to do for your role. And for a kid, like, I'm gonna just be honest, I ain't really met a lot of elite 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, players who don't need the fundamentals. Because I'll tell you what, I work out kids who are ranked, and it's dope, to see them succeed and see how much attention they garner, and they're getting some of these kids are getting recruiting letters and offers in 8th grade, 9th grade. Hats off to you. But guess what? If I dribble at you and we're teammates and I dribble at you, some of them don't even know the backdoor cut.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if I ask them a basketball question, 99% of them still can't answer. So it's like,
but these are your ranked 6th, 7th, 8th graders.
And it's just because they are more accelerated in a certain skill set than the others. But it does not mean that, all you need now is individual work. No, and I'll tell you this much. I'm working with a young man who's an astounding point guard, 9th grader, really good, comes from a great family. His dad gets it, played overseas, mom's great. They understand the process. But this kid is going from 8th grade to now 9th at Pace Academy, where the head coach, Coach Sharman, McDonald's coach,
Team USA.
Team USA, the Nike Hoop Summit, like he's the guy you want to play for here, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That kid now is a role player. That kid comes off the bench, actually. I went and watched him play recently. He didn't start. Mm-hmm. He didn't even play major minutes. I went and watched him play over the summer when he was just getting acclimated with the team. Guess what, parents? There were 2 games where this young man, and he's ranked, right, in his class. Mm-hmm. He didn't play. He didn't even get on the court. So if you don't learn how to work within a group and everything is just about you all the time, you can't expect to have the right reaction or the right mindset when you get thrown into a new situation like this young man, and now you're the small fish in a big pond. Mm-hmm. So, I think that parents have to understand everything isn't about right now. Some things you're doing it for your child, you're allowing them to go through it so that later on they're more prepared and they can be more mature when adversity comes. Because then they'll have a better perspective. Like, hey, it's not always about me. Sometimes it's about the greater good of the team. So I know that there's some good parents out there. Hopefully they don't think we're just attacking all of them. Like, yeah, there are some of you out there who really want to see your child compete, but also work together and collaborate with their teammates and have a sportsmanship type, attitude. But I think, it is very widespread right now for parents that are just like, no, as long as my child gets what they need, to hell with the rest of them.
And that's not just AAU program. That's on high school, middle school teams as well. And I had many parents. When I say men, I'm not going to categorize it like that. I had quite a few parents come up to me, even just this weekend. I get it everywhere I go. How should my son, daughter be playing at this camp? Because nobody else out here is playing team ball. Mm-hmm. Now, there are a few, the John Woon, John Lucas, Jay Billis camps, those camps, you're gonna have a lot of the right eyes on you, making sure things are done right, making sure you're playing the right way.
Yeah.
But when you go to something like a showcase, that you're going to a showcase.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand, like, you got to get to it. Parents come up like, well, then, setting solid screens, rebounding, running the floor. Doesn't that stuff matter here? I'm like, it does matter. You know what I'm saying? Because your son is playing right. But you're in a setting in most showcases, teamwork is out the door. I'm sorry. Yeah, I haven't seen so much teamwork in showcases.
And it goes all the way up to even the pro level. Like it's the same thing. Like when guys travel, for those overseas tours and they go and play in a couple countries for a few weeks. I actually was training a young man. Shout out to Demir Black. He went to DR in Spain for 2 or 3 weeks, and he did his thing. So now he's locked in. He has a real opportunity, and he's gone. But I talked to him about that same thing you just said before he left, because he was like, how should I play? Like, how should I approach it? I said, man, to be honest with you, at first, everybody's going to play for self. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to play for self. Yeah. So I said, the best thing you can do is don't take nothing personal. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about somebody looks you off. Don't worry about if someone misses you. Don't worry about if someone loses their cool. That's just going to happen. It's inevitable. I said, but the best thing you can do is just be in the best shape of everybody there, be in the best conditioning, and make sure that your game is sharp to the point where if you got to be off the ball because somebody's ball hogging, then you can be that guy that can make a shot, late shot clock. And then if you got to be on the ball because other guys can't make it happen and it finds you, then you're ready to do that as well. And defensively, just be a dog. So,
control what you can control.
That's it. And that's hard to teach a kid. You know what I mean? So I think, as far as parents are concerned, I think parents just need to be quiet in those situations. Like, if you ain't been in no showcase, don't try to coach your son or daughter through a showcase, because that's a Wild West type thing. And unless you have been in the fire, you're just talking off theory. Like I remember when I played in showcases as an unsigned senior, I was like, "What are we doing?" Like, like it felt
what
like
is this?
we were just running. Like,
What kind of basketball is this?
yeah, we were just going up and down, going up and down, going up and down. So like coming out of that, I played in another couple of them like that were, you had to get invited to come back to.
Yeah.
But I was more aware the next time. Like I was like, oh, okay, like this is how you have to approach it, right? So I think for those type of events, like even if a kid isn't going to be a ball hog or just hyper aggressive shooting all the time, you got to find ways to impact the game. Like you can always do it defensively. You can always talk your way out of being nervous, because if you're constantly talking, you're not overthinking, you're present. And then when you do have the ball and you have an opportunity, like just attack first. Like if you attack and you draw two, then you'll know where to pass. Yeah. But if you don't attack, you can't make anything good happen. Happen. So, just keep it simple, be aggressive, but then make the right play. So, and parents, like in those situations, just support your kid, because it's hard enough being a kid and you don't understand why you're at this camp or showcase anyway. You're just there thinking you love the game, but now, like we said earlier, there's the pressure of being ranked. So man, just tell them you're proud of them. Just tell them good job. tell them you'll take them out for ice cream or whatever afterwards. Don't, unless you've done it, you don't really need to be trying to like explain things to them that you haven't felt yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like going to a job expo. Like if you've been to Invest Fest or some big, clinic or speaking engagement, and everybody's there just hustling business cards. Like, yeah, what you want one of us to walk up to you and try to tell you how to, you know what I'm saying? Come on.
So, when we talk about the desire to see teamwork and sportsmanship, I think that is, you have to be true to yourself when it comes to that. 100%. You have to be true to yourself. You have to know that as a parent, you're doing the right thing, enforcing teamwork, enforcing sportsmanship. And so when you send your son or daughter to bed at night, you can know that you did the right thing.
For sure.
Now, there's gonna be some people out there they're out for self, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be able to. At that point, you have to, in certain places, just explain to your son or daughter how to respond in life.
Right.
Because your response is what you have when you are in those type of situations.
Yeah. I think a lot of parents just don't understand how teamwork is communicated in basketball. Like every sport has its own code, like team sport. So like in basketball, a guy falls down, it's a dead ball, he stays on the ground. Yeah. Until the teammates come pick him up. That's something we do in hoop that it's like universal. Yeah. So if you as a parent don't know because you didn't play, you don't understand that means something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or somebody turns it over. It's nothing to just go over there and just, slap them, be like, hey, you good. Don't worry about that. Next play. Come on, you good. Yeah. Right. But as a parent, if you ain't play, you can't, you don't know how to like just tell him something simple as, hey, catch him before he goes too far down the slope. And now he's hard to play with. Like now he's not confident. Now he don't believe in himself. He don't want to shoot it. He don't want the ball the next time. Yeah. A parent teaching a player to point at another kid after he throws him a good pass. Yeah. Like that would be groundbreaking if there was a dad or a mom who was like, you didn't point at Johnny when he threw you that bounce pass for that layup. Yeah. You missed 4 opportunities to point. Yeah. Like parents think it's something else. And it's like, no, it's these little tiny deposits that, again, if you played and you're a real fan of the game, you're a real like enthusiast and purist, you understand that is teamwork, and that goes a long way. So parents, I encourage you, notice those simple situations. Like if your child's coming off the court, how do they respond to their coach when they subbed out? Yeah. Do they dap everybody up on the sideline? You're worried about the buckets they're getting. An evaluator like T. Drake, he's watching like their countenance and their personality on the bench. Like a towel over their head, they leaning over. Like that at the end of the day makes a huge, huge, huge difference in a locker room and with the camaraderie of the team. Yeah. Yeah.
So let me just say this, that's something that we'll continue to build
For sure.
and to talk about teamwork and sportsmanship. But let's jump into these fears. The fears of a parent, their child's academic performance suffering due to sports commitments.
That's a
So
big one.
that's a big one. You know what I'm saying? Because if a kid does not understand, I'm gonna just jump right into it. If they do not understand, first of all, if they're not organized, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
If they don't understand time management, it's going to be a problem. And these are opportunities to be able to teach organization and
Right.
time management.
Right.
Organization meaning, do you have everything written down that you need to do? Do you have it a plan? You're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially in high school. Come on now. We just finished school 3:30. You know what I'm saying? We might be watching film. We might say, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna do some study, some studying or whatever.
Study
But
hall, yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you're gonna be watching some film. You're probably gonna hit that weight room. Then you gotta practice, 2-hour practice. Most times, you know what I'm saying, depending on if you ain't got, especially if you ain't got 2 gyms, you know what I'm saying, in that facility. You still operating out one gym. Or if volleyball has one going on in the game and you know what I'm saying, something else going on, other the girls gotta practice, JV gotta practice, freshman team gotta practice. You just never know. But we're talking about in the middle of the season right now. Like, you have to be able to be organized and you have to have time management and you got to be on the schedule because you get home, you got to prepare for the next day if you have not prepared over the weekend for your entire day. You got homework, you got to study, you got tests coming up, you know what I'm saying? And you still got other stuff to do as far as cleaning your room, you know what I'm saying, eating, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, this is where we do fail. We don't get enough rest. So you got to get all of this stuff crammed into a short amount of time after you get out of practice.
Right.
And at some point, some things suffer because you think that, you know what, when I get to school tomorrow, I can do this on this period, or I can do this at this period. And then when you get to school next day, something comes up.
Right. Right.
And so now you start getting behind because you haven't managed your time right. And so, I when it comes to this, I always talk about those two things when parents talk to me about, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, it's just been a challenge balancing, especially when they go from middle school to high school.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It really shows that that sometimes where there's a lack of discipline, or if you've been a kid that has been able to excel in middle school, but the workload is a whole lot more in high school.
Correct. Oh, 100% T.
I got a comment from Swish Academy. Enjoying the convo insights. That means they're not already put it up there. That means they're not already disciplined and have built those characteristics. So yeah, appreciate Swish Academy jumping in with us tonight, showing us some love. Man, we got a lot of folks in here tonight, Cole. Man, they just not talking, but these numbers are outstanding. We thank everyone for joining in and popping in on the Champions Podcast tonight on the Sunday night conversation. I know the Steelers getting ready to play Dallas. I know all the Steelers fans are on tune in tonight, watching us. And we're gonna get up out of this shortly so we can go watch them Steelers beat them Cowboys. But Cole, what you think about that, man? The fears of parents and their children suffering academically because of time commitments in regards to what they do in sports.
Yeah, I think parents just have to figure out what their priority is, for their child. Like, if your child's young, middle school age, you're more so driving the car, so to speak. I'm not talking in the literal sense. I'm talking as far as your child knowing like what they want to do in life, what their purpose might be, or just where they want to focus a lot of their energy towards. Like most middle school kids, they like things. They might even think that they love things, but they're not really sure at that point. So you as a parent, you're still the one basically like saying, no, you're not going to, simply just be in the gym, 100% of the time. We need to make sure you're back at home studying, getting this done, blah, 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 blah. I think when you get to high school, though, in that player or that child, right, that adolescent teen, they've decided that this is like what they want to do. This is how they want to basically kind of direct the next however many years of their life. You as a parent then have to like trust in what you have instilled in them. Make sure that obviously you provide guardrails and guide them. But if your fears are realized, it's obviously because of something that was not done before. It's not. I'm gonna just be honest. Like I had bad study habits as a young man growing up in high school. I kind of just floated through high school because I was a really good student and I was just smart. So I could get away with like not paying attention, not always staying on top of my work, working with my back against the wall. And then when I got to college, I struggled. So it's going to catch up eventually. Whatever seed you plant, you get a fruit from it. So I think as a parent, if your goal is to like raise this straight A student and, you know, they be perfect in the classroom, then that has to be what you instill and prioritize first. If you're one of these parents out here who believes that sports is the way for your child and it's going to like get them an athletic scholarship, then obviously it's still a priority for them to take care of their responsibilities. But then the focus just is more so like what T said, understanding time management, understanding your responsibilities, understanding that you still have to get things done in life. You may not do it at a level where you get 100% on that test or that quiz on every homework assignment, but it needs to be done. And so I think for me, like, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I'm not a huge fan of school even to this day. I think that it's just like indoctrinating our kids, but I do think that there's value in it because it teaches you how to handle your life, how to manage your life. I'm organized now today because when I went back to college, I got organized. Now, could I tell you everything I learned in school? No. And I have 3 degrees. But at the same time, I needed that time management. I needed the networks. I needed the relationships I built. Like all of that stuff's important. So I do think that if sports is the thing that you're focusing on, then as a parent, you gotta be okay with something like somewhat not being the priority. And if that's them getting B's instead of A's, so be it. I know that's not popular to say, but you want little Johnny to go D1, it takes a certain level of commitment.
And when you say that word commitment, this is what you always trade something for something.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like Steve Harvey always says, everybody has the same 24. It just depends on what are you gonna do with your 24.
That's right.
And so when this kid over here has put in his amount of time for 24, and he's getting the fruits of that time invested, and you haven't, the question is, where have you invested your time, and where's the fruit from what you've invested in? Right. And you got to be comfortable with the fruit that you're getting from what you invested your time with. You can't look over here and say, well, you say, you know, I want my son, daughter to go D1, but you're not putting in D1 time. And D1 time is consuming.
For sure.
It's consuming.
It's a job.
It's a job. And you have to be wired some kind of way, you know, a little different to go that route. You know what I'm saying? And everybody. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. But you and I both know kids who they are outstanding in the classroom. So it's going to garner them like Ivy League school opportunities. Yeah. But athletically, they can only play low major, mid-major basketball.
Yeah.
And it's not simply, well, he's not tall enough or, you know, but some of it is because you wanted to get a 4.4 or 4.6 GPA. That was the goal you set.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you're going to have both. It doesn't mean you can't.
Yeah.
But in the traditional sense, we're talking, you know, splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
Typically, you're trading off something.
It's not a whole lot of Grant Hills out there.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Grant Hill, man. You know, it just,
you know,
pick your path.
And the thing about it is this now, because of NIL, a lot of more kids are forsaking the time necessary for academics. Because now, come on, Cole, you got to think about it. I don't know how much Bryce Harper made at Alabama, but he was making more than the coaches. I'm not Bryce Harper. He played baseball. I'm talking about Bryce Young.
Okay. Yeah, I knew who you were talking about. I don't know why even.
Yes. The audience not to say, hey, you're talking about the wrong person. He was making more than the coaches, making a whole lot more than a lot of other people. And for some people, that would have been good even if he didn't go to the NFL, he would have been straight.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of what he had done in NIL at Alabama. And some of these kids are making generational wealth, that generational money that will change their bloodline in college. We're not even talking about getting to the pros.
Right.
And so now a lot of parents are looking at that and seeing that, and now even more time is being dedicated on the sports side than the academic side.
Right.
Now, once again, we're not sitting up and saying, well, what your priorities are, whether they're right or whether they're wrong. No, everybody, everybody has to make their own choices and their own decisions.
100%.
I always throw a couple of scriptures in here every now and then. You got to work out your own salvation.
That's right.
Whatever it is you feel like your family want your son or daughter to do and be and go in direction they go, you have to figure that out and work that out. And then you have to figure it out, work it out, and then set the plan on how to get there. But just know the plan, there's going to be some sacrifices somewhere.
For sure.
And you just got to think about is this. In life, you've got to be willing, or you got to have an understanding of what you're able to live with and what you're able to live without.
100%.
And once you do that, you can make your choices based off of your own core values.
And there are some schools that will be made available because you have a higher GPA, because you take it serious. Like some kids will not be able to qualify to go play basketball or football or whatever at a Duke simply because they don't make the GPA requirements. Georgia Tech is here, in Atlanta, Georgia, where I reside. Some kids have the talent, but they don't qualify. Yeah. So if you have a goal to play at a certain level of school that is known for its academia, then okay, there is some added pressure now to sustain that level of a GPA. But if we're just talking like you want your son or daughter to be a well-rounded individual, to have the opportunity to play sports at a high level, again, this is my opinion. Do not come after Drake. Don't come after, anybody. This is just me. I do not feel like the value that we have placed as a society in academics and in getting degrees, I think it's just common knowledge now. Like it's not all that it's cracked up to be. The world is moving beyond the industrial age, and just if you get a degree, you can always have something to fall back on. That's not necessarily true anymore. So yes, there should be an emphasis put on the discipline of school and understanding the character traits that you will build as an individual by working hard at something like studying. Yeah. But hey,
Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, said that, it's the A and B students, they're now working for the C and D students.
You know what I mean? Come on, man. Like I was one of them. I'm telling you, I was one of them. I got kicked out of college, you know what I'm saying, my freshman year. So, it takes a certain level of personality, interpersonal skills, ability to build relationships, manage your time, stay on task.
And let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
When have you had a course in college that teaches you those things that you just mentioned?
None. I learned that while in the cafeteria in college.
Those are the life things that you keep outside of the other stuff that you don't keep when you go to college.
Exactly. And you learn it in college or in high school, but it's not like you're saying, T, you're right on the spot. It's not the teacher, making you she's not giving you a quiz on like, how do you win friends and influence people? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if parents just understand that what you want for your child is for them to just do what they say they're going to do. Like, you know what? Your teacher gave you an assignment. You're committed to this because it's been assigned to you, and you also made a commitment to do what's necessary to stay eligible. Then, hey, like, I know you're tired. You had practice. Like, who cares? I'm tired as your parent.
Yeah.
But what if I don't cook? What if I don't come pick you up? What if I don't wash your clothes? Like, there are things that as a domino, they fall off if we don't all stick to what it is that we have to do for responsibilities. That's what I'm hoping we all, not force, but like push our kids to understand about school and other things like that. So great conversation. Great conversation.
Man, we are 8 minutes over, 9 minutes and 15 seconds over now. Our time. But hey, look, it has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation tonight on the Champions Podcast, the Sunday night conversation. Hey, we had an absolute amazing time. Parents, we hope that you had a enlightening opportunity on some of the things that we enlightening a light bulb that goes off on some of the things that we talked about today. That's giving you a more opportunity to be able to kind of evaluate how you're operating and working with your son or your daughter. Now, once again, like I said, I understand Alabama lost on yesterday. I'm a man about it. We just bombed. We just bombed. But we will see if we're gonna bounce back, or we see if we're gonna start a campaign to get Nick Saban back. So definitely understand. Hey, we're good on all that. Hey, I'm good. Thank you for everybody for checking on your boy. No, just anybody check nobody that. Hey, but y'all do need to check on my boy Cole, because Florida don't know what's going on with the Florida Gators. You know what I'm saying?
We used to it by now.
Hey, if these Steelers don't win tonight, if they don't beat Dallas tonight, you know what I'm saying? I know my cousin that never calls me probably gonna be calling. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard from him since 2 years ago. He'll probably be calling me if the Dallas Cowboys beat the Steelers tonight. So hopefully the Steelers gonna win tonight, so I ain't got to get that phone call. But hey, look, thank you all so much for joining in, tuning in tonight to the Champions Podcast. It's going to be loaded up on YouTube. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on IG. It's going to be on X. So you go ahead and just share it when you get opportunity. Yo, don't forget to go to those YouTube pages. You'll see is on T Drake Basketball. Is on to Transition. Go ahead and like those pages and stay locked in and connected so you can know when the Champions Podcast and the Sunday Night Conversation is going down. Cole, what you got for the people as we wrap up?
Man, parents, tell your kids you love them. Tell them you're proud of them. Tell them that you enjoy watching them play. Tell them you love them. Tell them you're proud of them. Tell them you enjoy watching them play. You do those three things, I think you'll help your kid tremendously. I think it'll definitely impact them in a way that's bigger than telling them to pass the ball, shoot the ball, or whatever. Just give them those three things as much as you can.
I'll leave the parents with this. I've never heard a child or kids, your son or daughter, get older and say that I need my coach, my parent that's a coach. Mm. But I have heard them say, I need my mom or I need my dad. Think about that.
Powerful. Yes, sir.
Thank you all for tuning in tonight. And as you always know, everybody wants the champion's power. Nobody wants the champion's pain. But to get the power, you got to go through the pain. We'll see you next week on the Champions Podcast, Sunday Night Conversation. It's your boy T Drake. It's your boy Korey Harris. Hey, we're out. Peace.
Peace.